What is up, creators? Derek here from DW Designs, and welcome to my fabrication series. Let's do this thing! What is up, guys? Derek here, and today we're going to start part 3 of how to build a roll cage for this 1969 Ford Bronco. As in the last video, I explained how to make this front hoop, and now we're going to do the back hoop. So let's get to it. Alrighty, guys, so I had a couple things I had to contend to, and I'm going to explain to you what I need to do in order to make this work without adding all these crazy bends and stuff like that. We want to keep it keep it stupid simple, because it's just going to be a simplistic roll cage. It doesn't need to be super crazy. So let me give you guys a little tour here of what's going on. So as you can see here, we got this fill neck cover here because the filler spout goes on that side, and there's not one over here. Well, that creates issues because now we've just made this narrower. So what I ended up doing is I measured the same distance from each side, from inside here to there, on both sides. Now it comes out to be 2 inches narrower total compared to that on both sides. So it's actually a total of 4 inches. I meant to say 4, but it's going to be 2 inches shorter on each side, which isn't going to be too much, but enough you'll notice it. So instead of it being directly lined up with it, it'll be just slightly inside, which is okay for what we're doing, because then what I'll do is I'll have a tube that comes across here, kicks out, and connects to the tube that goes up here. Now this particular roll cage is going to be a little bit complicated for the back hoop because the customer has specifically requested that we don't have any roll bar showing in the windows. He wants his passengers to be able to see out the back without any obstructions whatsoever. So it makes it a little bit more challenging, but it's definitely doable. So let me guys show you how I'm going to do it. Alright, so with this front hoop, as you can see here, it does not show in the window whatsoever. It's just past it. So when you're looking out the window, you won't see it. But if you come over a little bit, then you will see it. We want to accomplish the same thing here for the back. However, though, we got this angle here we have to contend to. So what I did is I took the front hoop up here, and I made sure it was nice and straight, the way it's going to sit finalized. And then I put the clamps on it so that way it won't move anywhere. So then after that, I set a square at the bottom of the center of the tube in the front and measured from front to back. So from up there to back here. And I took that measurement down. And what that tells me is what the base of the tube length needs to be in between the front and the rear. And that's crucial because that's the start point. Then from there, what I did is I measured from the floor to the middle section. And that was, I believe, 18 inches if I can remember off the top of my head. And that right there is going to tell me where my next bend needs to be to line up with this, because I want it to come up and then start bending up, or forward rather, to match the contour of the top. After I achieve that, then I put my tape measure up against here, just right where the first start of bend goes, to the windshield right here. And then what I did is I minus 7/8 of an inch, which is half the diameter of the tube, so that way it just sticks past, so that way you don't see it. and I jotted that measurement down. And what that's going to do is allow me to enter those numbers into the computer, which is going to create pick points, and then from there I can actually just connect all the tubings. That was a blooper. Connect all the dots, and that will get us what we need. So let me show you guys what I did on the computer here. Alrighty guys, so what I did is I brought the original front hoop into the program, so that way I can base it off of the front hoop as well, so that way we get the very similar shape and look, so that way it feels the same when you look at it. So what I did is I narrowed it the amount that I needed to narrow it. As you can see here, it is narrower here, so it's about 2 inches narrower on each side. And the height is the same. We kept the height the same, except the width is just not quite the same. Now, looking at it here, it looks straight up and down, but when you come to the side here, you can see that it's got an angle. That angle right here is that window opening. We're keeping it out of the window. And then as you can see here, the tube up here kind of slightly tapers back to being straight up and down. Basically 90 degrees parallel to the ground. So that's how I got that. Eventually in the future guys, I'll create a better video on how a lot of this stuff is done on Bendtech, so that way you guys can learn how to do it. But there are other Bendtech videos out there that show every detail on how to recreate things or make it yourself. So with that, let's go on to the next phase here. Alrighty guys, so we're on a different screen here now. What I did is I took the rear hoop from the other drawing that we had there, and I transferred it to what we call Custom 3D. Now what that does is it gives me all the locations of the bends, the rotation, the angle, and the spring angle, which is great because then that way it makes it super easy, super fast, and very, very efficient. So if you're not sure how to bend it and you're looking at all these and you go, wow, what the heck do I do? Well, we'll go to parts details, and then we'll go bend order, and then it'll automatically give us a screen here that we can quite literally press play, and it shows you how it's bent. So that way you don't mess it up and get it right the first time. This is kind of a complicated bend, so it will be a little bit difficult. So, but we will get it done. So anyway, on to the next phase of this. We're gonna go cut the tube, mark it, and start bending. Alrighty guys, so what I did is I took all my measurements that I needed, and I went ahead and I drew it on the tubing and marked my degree of bend and everything as you see there. So now this tubing does have rotation, so you guys are going to need a special tool or gizmo or whatever you guys want to call it, and it's nothing fancy, and I have one right here. You guys have seen it in my last video, and that's a degree finder that clamps onto your tubing. The reason why is because as you bend the tubing around the bender, you'll need to clock it at different positions to get different styles of bends. So in case of this one, we actually have it to where it comes forward and then angles up and then tilts back a little bit. So we got multiple bends here that require you to have a degree finder. So with that, let's get to bending. Alrighty guys, so let me show you what I got going on so far. I know I didn't show you guys a video of me bending the tubing, but in the last video you can see how I did that. But I will do an explanation on how I got the clocking on here. So let's go over here. So what we got here, sorry for the poor quality of lighting if it's hard for you to see some of it. So if you look at the die in relations to the tube, see how it comes up and then back and then flat there? That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, in BendTech, it tells you that you got to clock it 99 degrees the other way. So you got to take it to 90 and add 9 to that. So it ended up being 81 degrees the opposite direction. And then you bend it, and then you got to come up plus 10 degrees, not back to 0 and then up 10, otherwise you're gonna have a really bad mistake. So it's 10 degrees plus, which puts it back at 89 degrees the opposite way. So that's 10 degrees up. And then what I did is bent it there. Now we want to go straight across, so we put it back at 89 degrees, so that way it stays straight across. I almost made a mistake and bent it right here the first time, and it wouldn't have been the end of the world if I did, because it would have been on the same plane as this bend here, but I would have been pretty upset if I had to go back and do it, because then it makes it a little bit more challenging to get it through the bender and try to get it right the first time. So with that being said, that is roughly how it's done. If you guys would like to see a really good in-depth video, please leave a comment below, so that way you know, I'll try to get one out for you guys if you guys are actually interested. So anyway, on to the next step. Alrighty guys, so here we are a little bit further. Here it is, ladies and gents, straight up and down. Now, it's confusing when you look at it. It says plus 99 degrees the other way. That doesn't mean go 0, then 99 degrees the other way, because otherwise you're going to mess it up. It's actually starts out at 0, and then you bend it at whatever the degrees were, and then you go plus 10 degrees up. You stay that plus 10 degrees across, and then you minus that 10 degrees back down, and then when you come back across, then you go back up to 0 again. So that's how that's done. So let me bend that, and then we'll put it in the car and see how it fits. Alrighty guys, so I got the tube all bent up. I actually had to take it out back to my forklift and take a little bend out on the ends, but it came out absolutely perfect. And I want you guys to see it. And I apologize if my sunglasses are distracting. It's just very bright out here right now, and it's nice to keep the eyes easy a little bit. So there it is, folks. Lands right on my markers, right where I had them, right in the center. I know I covered them up with the plate, but that's what I need, because that's where it's going to be landing. It comes up, around, and back down. And not to mention, it hides behind the window. So none of this, I can't see out the window stuff going on now. Look at that. That's gonna look really good. I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I got a big smile on my face. I'm excited to get this thing done. It's gonna look awesome. So that will conclude part 3 of how to build a roll cage for this 1969 Ford Bronco. So stay tuned with me, guys, and we will definitely have some more videos coming out on it. So if you guys like this video, please like, subscribe if you guys really like it, share with your friends, hit the little bell if you guys want notifications when I post another video. So until then, see you guys later.